Please welcome Jeffrey to Emoticon.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. All right, so let's jump right in. Have you ever seen this? This is on YouTube. You can find it. It's a little pixelated on the big screen, but this is a shot of the city streets from 1900. So over 100 years ago, this movie was filmed. And I'd like you to pay attention to it a little bit, and then I'm going to call on people because I want you to tell me the differences between film at this time period and today. Here's another real interesting movie. This is San Francisco in 1900.
Something's wrong with me.
Okay, so can everyone, I'm going to call in a few people. Would anyone like to tell me what's changed between film at this time period and film today? Yeah. Ignore that, but you got a sense of the movies, I hope, to some degree. So seriously, yes? Yes? Okay, 3D visuals and effects?
There's no cars, it's just carriages and horses.
Well, not really the content of the movie. It's more how movies are made. Like, what do you notice about the way that the two clips I just showed you were shot? Yes?
Color. There is no color.
Right, there's no color. Right, well, and you can also notice there's not a lot of camera movement, right? Yes. Yes, the quality of the video, yeah. Well, the movement speeds distort sometimes in old movies, so yeah. Anything else? Okay, so I also created a list. I think you can notice that there's, whenever the first video cut, it wasn't a real cut like in a movie where you cut between two people who are having a conversation. It's just basically someone moved the camera and turned it off between moving it and then turned it back on. There's also very little camera motion. This video, as you notice, the entire movie is basically just riding this trolley through the city. So you see the tracks on which the camera is placed to allow it to move in the shot. There's no close-ups. There's no zooms, there's no color, there's no sound. The music during the second one is played by a live instrument. It wasn't played over speakers. There are time jumps. There's no time jumps. There's no narration. And there's no CGI or 3D. So, and there's also no story. And this is really important. So movies have evolved over the last 100 years to become a medium that speaks to people, that tells intense emotional experiences. And right now, video games are here. They're at the beginning of their development. They're in the same exact position as those film clips that you saw. So basically, we are taking this new medium and trying to trailblaze, and the goal is to get to the point where we're telling as complex and as emotional stories and messages as film does currently. Each medium has something at its core, which is what you have to work with. And so you guys are doing these experiments today and making things from scratch. And so the thing that I have to work with from scratch is interactivity. So it's not a video game unless it's about interaction, unless it's about the things that you're doing in the game. You know, the way that the game communicates with the player, and the way the player messes with the controller, and the way the player communicates with the game. And so all of that has to be how the stories are told. It can't be like movies where you're just, you know, filming scenes, because then it should just be a movie and it shouldn't be a game. And I don't mean this. I bet you guys have seen those plays, you know, when you were young in elementary school, where people get up on stage and they're like, "Where's the cow? I can't find my cow." And then people in the audience go, "It's over there." And the person's like, "Over here?" And they're like, "No, it's over there. It's right behind you. There's a cow right there." that's not the kind of thing that we want to create. We want to use interaction to create a mature, deep adult experience where you don't laugh at it and you don't roll your eyes. So this is a game that I worked on. So as you can see, there's a historical setting.
Ezio Auditore. Brave of you to stand alone against me, but also quite foolish. Assassin.
So that gives you a sense of the tone of the game, and this is, I wanted to show you a little bit of playing, and in this case there's a passion play going on in the center of the Colosseum, which is occurred at those time periods. People weren't allowed to put on plays that were about art and subjects like that. This is a player who's playing, talking. But I can actually probably mute that, but I don't know how.
Thou must be there. Thou cannot read.
That's the passion play.
When thou seest his heart read.
So passion plays, you couldn't put on plays about art, so instead they put on plays about Christ's life. And players would go around the countryside performing plays from the Bible. And in this scene, you're sneaking around the Colosseum and trying to get to the passion play to save one of the actors who's going to be killed. So you get a sense of that. So basically, we try to incorporate exciting, interesting gameplay mixed around historical settings and teach you about history through the process. And so you learn about stuff like passion plays. You learn about, like in the trailer that you just saw, Cesare Borgia and the Pope were both real. And we're teaching through engagement. The idea is to engage players in what's going on and at the same time engage them with history. So what I do is I work with level designers. This is a prototype of a level to create moments throughout the level where meaning and story can be conveyed. And then also all the dialogue and all the talking, like in the trailer that you watched, and in the scenes that happen in the game, I write that. And then I work with the director to film it and make sure that it conveys the emotions that we're trying to teach. The other important thing that I do is working with gameplay mechanics, which are the things that you do when you play a game.
For example, in that sequence that you just watched, he's free running, which means he's jumping across all the obstacles in the Colosseum.
That's a gameplay, and it's designed to be engaging. So if you were to become a game designer, what you'd be doing is you'd be creating engaging gameplays that keep the player playing. Because the worst thing that can happen is someone goes, "This is boring," and throws the controller away. So that's the constraints that you're working with. You want to create engaging gameplays. And for me, the gameplays have to create meaning. They have to be about something. And so if you look at this screenshot from Sands of Time, which is an old game, Prince of Persia, you'll notice that there's sand tanks on the upper left-hand corner, these yellow circles. And then there's a health bar at the top, the blue line. And in that game, both of those are part of the story, because the Dagger of Time, which can reverse time, is a huge part of the story. And those sand tanks, you get more of them as you gather more energy into the dagger. And so the story of the game that the player experiences is of upgrading this dagger so that it gets more and more sand and becoming more and more powerful. But at the same time, your character learns to have responsibility, learns to take responsibility with that power. And so that's the challenge, is that it's easy in a game to create a complex web of gameplay that involves the player, but the difficult part is making that be about emotion. Because action, a lot of times in life as an animal, when you're acting, you're running away from something, and it's about an adrenaline rush, or it's about anger, or it's about fear. And so we want it to be about love, or about sadness, or about betrayal, or all these complex emotions that make up human life, but we have to do it through action. And so the beginnings of that is like dealing with the way the HUD works. And in Far Cry 3, the HUD is going to be part of the story as well, and I'm trying to play around with that.